Okay guys, let's say goodbye to all your photo prime lens, because there's only one lens that you will need, and that's this one. Hey guys, great to see you again. Welcome back at the channel 2024. The best wishes guys, really, let's make a great year of it. And like I said, one lens, one only lens, and that is the 10-25 Lumix. And I think, yeah, you're curious, but I mean for real. I mean, I'm using this one for more than a year now, and I might add that I normally I am a prime user only. Just to be honest, this is the first zoom lens that I'm using. I only have primes for photo and for video. So this is the only prime that I'm using, because just let's say it's I think the lens that gives me the most opportunities, possibilities to get the shot. And of course, there's nothing wrong with prime lenses. I mean, as a matter of fact, they are great, and that's why I'm using them. And have you been using them for quite some years now? But this one is different. So maybe you're wondering, Kevin, what's so good about this lens? Well, I think with one word you can say it's so versatile. When I'm having this on my camera, I know I'm getting the shot. And that's not something you can say when you're used to shooting a prime. If you're shooting a prime, if you really are a prime shooter, then you know you can relate to this thought. When you're going to shoot somewhere, the thought that you have in mind is, okay, what's the space I'm in? For instance, you're shooting with an 85mm. Well, it's nice. I know that bokeh-ness, that portraits, wow, I know. I've used it for years, but the first thing that comes to mind when you're shooting an event, a wedding, whatever, is the location. Is the space. Is there enough space? Is there enough distance to your subject? Do I have to shoot in tight places? Do I have to shoot groups? Because often with a 50mm you can't even get the shot. So those thoughts about, okay, the distance, the practical stuff, I don't have it with this lens. So for me, if I'm shooting with this lens, it's just like, okay, I'm having this shot. I'm going for the shot and I'm getting the shot, and even with good quality. So for me, when I'm using this, it's mostly for the events. This is my running gun lens for every event that I'm doing. Events, video and photo. It's just great having a lens that's very fast, but very practical with that focal range. And this lens makes it for me possible to have like a running gun setup, not to worry about all those practical stuff, but just focus on the image, focus on getting that shot. Let's do a deep dive in those pros. First, of course, the practical focal range. It's a killer. 10-25, equivalent, of course, to the full frame 20-50. Well, within that range, you kinda have all those great prime lenses. And then the next thing, it's very fast. It's a 1.7 aperture. 1.7 people, 1.7 the whole range, and it's really great. So you have the shallow depth of field, but very important, you have the light, the exposure, the amount of light that enters your lens makes it possible to shoot at events, whatever the light situation is. So that is very important. The image quality, of course, normally when you're shooting a prime, that's the whole point of it, right? The image quality. This one delivers. Is it as good as? Well, it maybe depends on the prime you're using, but I think that the fact that I have to like pixel peek to see the differences makes this one the clear winner. So image quality, it's fast, and it got a zoom. Next thing, I got a list here. So the flaring, well, there's no flaring, almost non-existent. So that's quite good. I mean, that's quite good. Looking back in the years when I'm reviewing all those lenses, the photo lenses mainly, it was always about flaring. Because when you're flaring, there's a loss of contrast, so the richness of the contrast and saturation in your images is lost due to those flarings. And this one doesn't flare, almost doesn't flare. So that's really nice about this lens, although I really like flaring. So for me, this is okay, this is a pro, but for me personally, it's more a con because I like those flares. I like not having like a perfect lens. So for me, I really have to work with this lens to create a fake or whatever flare when I'm using it. So that makes it great, just great. And another thing that's really a pro for me, and also the main reason why I'm using this always as my run and gun lens for all my video, event videography, photography, is the fact that it has a focus clutch. So yeah, this is an autofocus lens. You can use it with manual focus, autofocus, or focus by wires, totally electronic, the same as we are used to with all the lenses at the market at this moment. But when I'm doing all my shots, event videography, I like to use a follow focus system, and the fact that this one has a focus clutch means that I can use it with a follow focus system. As you can see, I can see the distance scale on it. I can set my end point, I can set my in point. It's just great having this option on this lens. And the last pro has to do with, just kind of surprising I might add, because I have to go back to the announcement that was on Photokina. When they showed this one for the first time, I thought, oh well, wow, but damn, that's chunky. I mean, it's really nice to have those specs, but you know already when you're hearing the specs, it's fast with a zoom, it's chunky, and that is right, it's chunky. But what's the pro about it? It's lightweight. For the fact that it's this chunky, it's really lightweight. It's so great that I'm using it now here in my hand. I don't even feel that it's front heavy. As a matter of fact, I can even change the lens and not even be aware of it, that there's not a lens on it, because the gravity for me is still here at this point of the body. So I don't have to like tilt my wrist. There's like I said, when I'm shooting with this lens and I'm shooting a whole event, I don't have sore wrists because of the front heaviness of it. Now, even though when I'm zooming in and out, you can see it's going a bit in and out. It's not an internal zoom, but still, when you're doing this, you don't feel it's going. Yeah, it's going to move to the front and back because it's still very lightweight. You can even use it on gimbals, and that makes this lens for me so versatile in usage, even for a run and gun setup, like in a whole event that I have to shoot. It's chunky for Micro Four Thirds, but it's great lightweight. So there you go, guys. That's the video for today. The lens, the only lens you will need. So ditch those photo prime lenses. Even when you're not a Micro Four Thirds user, just look for something similar like this. This is the lens, and luckily Lumix also has another one. Next video, by the way, next review, by the way. The one that comes after this one, with the focal range more in the zoom, the 25 to 50. Same specs, build, whatever. Ooh, that's so nice. So guys, stay tuned. If you have any questions, do leave a comment, and I'll see you next time.